He's a hustler, unbreakable, a people's person, and a future billionaire. This is the Hustler's Corner with Sbu Liope, well known to you and I as DJ Sbu.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Hustler's Corner. This is a platform where we get to inspire you by bringing different hustlers who have either climbed up the corporate ladder, who are hustling in their professional careers, hustling building businesses, hustling building their careers, or just in any hustle. We bring them in all forms, shapes and sizes, races. We just want to share that story. We want to inspire you, the new generation of hustlers that are out there. The name is Sbu, DJ Sbu, straight out of Johannesburg in South Africa. Now, I would like for you guys to like, share, and subscribe, and click on that notification button so that you can know when we're dropping new videos. But guys, we want everybody to plug in. And for everybody else to plug in, you guys must keep clicking that like button. So on the count of 3, all of you guys are gonna click that like button, right? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Click, 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 click. Now, okay. I love reading people's resumes, people that have done really well. Now, guys, listen to this. The journey of becoming a woman of power. She's a woman of power. She is a hustler of notes. She is a part of, okay, let me just read this. Let me stop saying it myself. Now, what is 12J Investment? She'll tell us all about it, which is a vehicle, an investment vehicle that you guys will know about. And we're also going to be finding out from her about the effects of the National Health Insurance Bill that is out there, the company she's involved in, the story, where she comes from, how she was able to build her career and be a part of RH Bophelo, which is celebrating its 2nd anniversary after listing on the JSE as the first 100% Black-owned company to be listed on the JSE to dilute the richness of the market dominated by the big 3 private health care providers. Now, she holds a Bcompt Honours degree from UNISA and qualified as a chartered accountant, completed her articles at PricewaterhouseCoopers within the financial services sector. And in this period, she was involved in the audit of various financial institutions, including Standard Bank Equities, First National Bank Credit, Liberty Life, Absa Credit, and RMB, which is Rand Merchant Bank. As this goes on and on and on and on and on. She subsequently joined the IDC, the Industrial Development Corporation, as a business analyst, later promoted to project manager. And actually, let me not say this entire resume, but it's amazing and thick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You can call her entrepreneur, you can call her go-getter, high achiever, Vuyokazi Nomvalo Siswami. Welcome to the Hustler's Corner.
Thank you, DJ Sbu.
Siyabulela, siyabonga.
Yes, ngiyabonga nami.
This is a platform where we just want to inspire other hustlers out there who are on their journey to be like you, because we all want to be like people like yourselves, even more and better.
Yes.
And there's also younger sisters out there who are still at varsity who get to watch these platforms and these podcasts. Maybe singaqala ngokuthi usisi Vuyokazi ubani. What's your story?
I guess maybe let me start with what I'm currently at, where I'm currently at, and what I'm doing at this point in time. So, Vuyokazi, I am a transaction executive at RH Bophelo. RH Bophelo is basically a listed company in the healthcare space. We listed in 2017 as a SPAC, and now we are actually in investment holdings. We invest in healthcare. So the whole idea is to actually disrupt the healthcare sector. As you know, that the big 3 actually belongs to your life, Mediclinic and Netcare. So we want to be the 4th Black-owned listed healthcare provider in this country. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So there's various products that we've launched to try and create that ecosystem and take advantage of that market. We can talk about that later. But just Vuyokazi, who she is and where she comes from, is I was born in a village in Umzimkhulu, which is part of KZN.
Oh, you're from KZN?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up there and moved to Joburg in 2004. Yes, in 2004. Came through, stayed with my uncle, started studying here. So I've basically finished my matric here. And when I finished matric, I wanted to obviously do accounting, as you've said, that I'm a CA, but I didn't have access to the funds, right? I applied for bursaries. Unfortunately, I actually didn't get any, which then meant you either sit at home or you do something. And then I decided to enroll part-time at UNISA and study to become a CA. And it's actually interesting how I got to decide that I want to be a CA. As I said, I grew up in a village, and in a village, what you're exposed to, it's either a teacher or a nurse. And my mom is a teacher, by the way. Well, was a teacher because she retired last year. So the most obvious thing would have been for me to be a teacher. However, I was lucky and blessed in a sense that my uncle, who's my mother's brother, was actually already in Gauteng then. And I guess he saw it fit to say, you know what, I think you can get better education in Joburg, come here and be exposed to other things. And obviously, because when he used to go to the village, he had the nice car. When we come to Joburg, we see these beautiful houses and you're thinking, wow, how did he get there? So automatically in my mind, I wanted to be what he is, which is an accountant as well. So my uncle is Nomvalo, who's actually the CEO of Saika now, who's also an accountant. So that's how it came about.
Before we continue, would you like to order anything? You can order lunch.
Yes. Can I just have water, please?
Or water?
Yes.
Okay.
For now, yeah.
I just want a glass of wine. Guys, it's a Friday. You'll forgive me. I love my wine. Yeah? I love my Chardonnay Pinot Noir. So I'll have the, I can give them a plug. I'll have the hot Cabrera, the 2018, yeah? Or is it Vondeling Conan? Oh, you go. Okay, cool. So yeah, that is the 2018 hot Cabrera, Chardonnay Pinot Noir. It's a Friday, guys. Forgive me, yeah? I'm sure you guys are also having fun and having a drink. I work very hard. I'm one of the hardest working people I know. She's telling us about her journey and just moving into Joburg, being a daughter of a school teacher coming from the villages. The only careers that are mostly out there is if not a doctor, a lawyer, if not a lawyer, a teacher. And that's quite interesting. Yeah, I disturbed you. You're still telling the story.
Yeah. And then, I came to Joburg, as I said, finished my matric, started with UNISA. It really was a tough journey, starting part-time. And along the way, you meet people that support you and others who'll be like, how do you think you're going to pass accounting starting part-time with no lectures or nothing, you know? But I guess when you know what you want and you know what you want to achieve, you persevere, right? And that's exactly what I did. And I also had support from my family. Basically, my mom had always said that I want you to be independent and I want you to do better than me, which obviously better than being a teacher. And she was always there. As much as she couldn't help me with accounting, but she was there every time I was stuck with something. She's there, and I guess I was also blessed with having good friends. So just the support structure, support system around you is very important, because those are the people that actually support you with your dreams. Those are the people that you share your dreams with and your goals, and sometimes they come with ideas that actually are better than what you were thinking, and they help you get to where you want to be. And yeah, I guess because, as I said, I didn't have a bursary, then I had to also work as well part-time.
So what are some of the odd jobs that you've done? I've worked at Edgar's, I've worked at Levi's, I've been a waiter before at a restaurant in Rosebank, T1 or T20, they've shut it down now. I've sold in the streets. Geez, I've done a lot of work. What are some of the jobs that you've done?
Well, actually, I worked at Truett's at Boulders Shopping Center in Midrand for about a good 8 years.
Wow, okay.
While I was studying. And as soon as I finished my degree, then I met some guys who were already in the private equity industry and who were qualified CAs, and they were looking for someone to sponsor, right? And I started working for them, and they actually sponsored part of my honors degree. So I was working for them, just doing the odd work in terms of analyzing companies that they wanted to invest in. And those are also the guys that pay, help me a lot going through the journey. And the name of the company is actually Medu Capital. It's called Medu Capital. They still one of the big companies in the private equity sector.
With that being said, how do they feel now that you've become this person and they assisted you?
They're actually very happy about it, because I think one of the biggest things is that you go through the journey and you actually want to help other people and take them through the journey with you. So we still meet with them now and again for lunch to catch up in terms of where we are, where I am in terms of our business and where they are and things like that. So they're still there as mentors and as big brothers in the industry. So yeah. And then I worked for them and did my honors part-time. But it was only part-time for like 6 months because honors is a hectic year. So when it got to June, I actually failed my exams. And I had to sit down, and I guess my uncle as well forced me to do that, to actually decide what I want. And at that point in time, you getting paid like 3,000 Rand a month and you're happy and you're at school, you're like, so if I stop working, where am I going to get the money? Because the truth is I was getting paid like 10 Rands per hour. So it was really nothing. But at least at that time, it helped to actually supplement whatever else that I was getting from my mother and from my uncle to assist me with the schooling. So I then had to take a decision to say, guys, I have to stop working and actually study full time. And by full time, I don't necessarily mean that go to a residential university, but I meant as I was registered at UNISA, I needed to then, in the morning every day, instead of going to work, but take my books and go to the library rather, so that I can study. And the guys agreed, because obviously they wanted me to qualify as a CA at the end of the day. And I had to get my family's support to say, guys, you know that from today, since I'm not working, then I'm going to ask you for money for everything that I need, monthly supplies as a woman and all of that. So, and they agreed. So long story short, then got to the end of the year and I passed. So from having failed my June exams to passing at the end of the year. I had to make sacrifices along the way, which as I said, with support, it's not as difficult as you think it would be.
And what are some of those sacrifices you've had to make?
I guess
I'm sure there's a lot, but what comes to mind?
Yeah, but I think a lot of them, if you think about it, when you're still studying, you have to sacrifice partying to start with, going out with friends. And I actually lost a lot of my friends, some of my friends during that time. So the only friends that I ended up with were the friends that were actually doing the honors with me. So the ones that you grew up with and whatnot, they just disappeared at that point in time because essentially you didn't have time for. And the one other thing that I had to let go of is let go of having a boyfriend, because I honestly didn't have time at that point in time.
I've got a foundation that I run, and every time when I've got accounting students, when they're going through their work, varsity work, they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but Sbu. And I sometimes bring up a believe it, but people like yourself say it. It's even difficult to date.
Yeah.
When you're that entrenched into your work, especially if you want to become a CA. Apparently the work is too much.
Yes. The workload is too much. And I've got cousins, and he would come to my bedroom and I'm studying. You've got these accounting standards and auditing standards, and it's a pack this big. Sure. And he would look at that and be like, you studying that? I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
And yes, you can also be like, no, you know what, I can't do this. But you just have to keep going. It's not easy, and it will never be. The workload is too much. Yeah.
What kept you going?
I think it's a combination of things. Growing up in a village, seeing, as I said, my uncle coming back during holidays or whatever with a nice car. You come to visit him in Joburg, he's got a big house and all of that. And I just wanted better for myself. So I knew that, yes, it is difficult, but at the end of the day, this is what I want. And some of the friends that I have, I've got a friend who used to say to me, when she came by and I'm maybe sleeping or whatever and I'm not studying, she would say, friend, you're not studying. Why are you not studying? Hey, you know what? I'm going to hire you to work for me as a domestic worker. And every time I used to just have those words ringing in my head, like, I can't be Mbali's domestic worker. No, I'm going to wake up and study. So it's a few things that kept me going.
It's not an easy journey. I mean, you gotta really be wired because it is all here, right?
Yes.
And Joburg is also not easy because now there's the lifestyle, there's the influence, there's the parties that are trying to draw you in, but you're refusing because you've got a lot of work to focus on.
Yes.
What type of person did that make you? I mean, obviously, as you're saying, would say you lost a lot of friends. I'm sure it was not voluntarily. You didn't want to lose friends, but because you're just never there, you're always with your schoolwork. You've had to lose those friends, and you've had to choose your books. And I can imagine that you guys right now going through the same thing, where you've got a lot of work, schoolwork, whatever you're studying, or building a company, or you probably are a graduate and you're building your career, and you do get drawn from sides sometimes, like this, that, and I've experienced it as well in building my career. It's not an easy thing. You do lose a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And for me, I wanted just to touch about the friends issue, because I know a lot of young people, we're all influenced by friends. We love having friends. We love going out. I want to delve into a little bit about that friends space. And because you need to remember, this conversation is about you guys. It's not about us. Now we're doing well with our careers, but it's just about you. We just want to inspire you, to encourage you. And we want you to know that you're not the only one that's going through whatever you're going through. We've gone through the same thing, or even worse, you know? Because they think sometimes it's good to know, I do need my friends.
Look, the reality is you do need friends, but the type of friends that you need is the important thing, right? As you said, the friends that I lost, it's not necessarily that I wanted to lose, but I needed to get to a point in my life where I had to decide, okay, these ones are constantly pulling me the other direction, and these ones obviously want us to do better, to study, to finish school and whatnot. So I had to decide which way I'm going. And I suppose for me, the support that I had, because I'll keep referring to the support, because I actually think without the support that I had at home, I don't think I would be where I am. So my uncle actually played a critical role, because constantly he used to say, please do not forget why you are here. You are here so that you can achieve this, and I know that you can, you know. And you would have a friend come in and, you know, he'll just interact with that person 2-3 minutes or whatever, and when the person is left, like, this I don't think would be a good friend, you know. And obviously you're a child, you're like, no, you can't tell me which friends to have and whatnot, but like 4 or 5 months later, you've actually picked up what he was highlighting. You know what I mean? So yes, he had to take drastic measures, in a sense that he would even scare you to say, you know, if you actually mess up and fail, I'll send you back to the village.
And then we'll come back to my places.
Exactly. So I would just think, Nkosiam, and I have to carry that bucket on my head and go fetch the wood again. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's all those kind of things that actually kept me in track.
Then you graduated.
Yes. So then I graduated, and I think when I graduated, it was actually easier at that point in time. And I would think it's still easy, even now, to get a job once you've graduated with your Bcompt Honours, because there's a lot of the accounting firms that are looking for cheap labor, to call it, because you have to do your articles, right? You do your articles for 3 years, and where you do a lot of the work, but get paid peanuts. And obviously the partners and everyone else get paid more than you, but you are the one who's taking invoices and everything to agree to the trial balance and all of those things. So when I graduated, I already had a training contract with PwC, and that's how I ended up at PwC for the 3-year article program. So you do your articles for 3 years, but in that 3 years, you actually write your board exams. So you write your first board exam in the first year, and you write your second board exam in the second year of your articles. I wrote my board exam in the first year and actually failed it. And which I suppose was expected by the people that I worked with, because what they used to do, they used to profile us according to universities. They say, if you started at UNISA, chances are you're going to fail because you're studying part-time. If you're studying at UJ, because you had classes every day and whatnot, you are going to pass. And unfortunately, I actually proved them right. But, that did discourage me. But in the second year, I said, you know what? Yes, I did fail, but I'm not going to fail this again. So I started attending classes. Then we had SAICA that offered Tutuga bursary classes, where we could attend classes on every Friday and Saturday. So I started attending those classes every Friday, Saturday to prepare for the next year to write.
Yeah.
And actually then passed it in the second time that I wrote. Then did the second year board exams and also passed those as well. And then qualified as a CA. But it was not an easy journey as well, because you do your articles, and I audited the financial services, which is typically your banks, right? You go, I'll give one example. I remember Alexander Forbes used to be one of our clients, and we dealt with one financial manager who would walk into a room, and I was the only black person in the team, and speak in Afrikaans.
Oh.
Right? So obviously I don't understand what he's saying. I'll ignore that. Then you're busy with your work and you figure, oh yeah, I don't have this, let me go ask him. So this one day I went to him and asked him for it. And he's like, no, but I already explained that when I came to the boardroom.
But you explained in Afrikaans.
Then I'm like, when you spoke in Afrikaans? And he says, yeah. At that point, I actually said everything else that I said after that was in Zulu.
Oh,
and
yes.
then he just looked at me. And I was like, well, did you hear what I said? He's like, no, I didn't. I was like, exactly. That's how I felt when you're speaking in Afrikaans. So from that day, we actually became friends with that guy. So it's just one of those things. You face challenges everywhere you go, but you have to find ways of dealing with them. They usually say I'm very aggressive, which I don't think so. But I suppose not everyone can say the same thing. And you're the only person who's disputing it. So maybe there's an element of truth to it. But that's how I dealt with that situation, because you can't speak to me in Afrikaans and I don't understand you. When I speak in Zulu, it's an offense.
Because it's the same thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Double standards.
So yeah, and I mean, with banks, even today, you still deal with that. So, and I guess that is why at the end of my articles, then I moved
from PwC
to IDC. And IDC was obviously a bit different. There were issues in a sense that you would find that the people that you find, they have been there for years. So they're used to doing things in certain ways, which when you say no, but I think this is what we should do, then it becomes a whole fight and all of those things that you had to deal with. But it was way better than PwC. And I suppose also the kind of work that we're doing is something that I enjoyed, because we're funding people's companies. So someone will come with an idea, you look at the business model, you see if it makes sense, you structure it and you fund it. So I actually enjoyed that way more than audit. And I guess that's where I picked up, that actually, I think at some point I would want to do this for myself instead of doing it, for other people.
So that's when the entrepreneurial bug sort of bit you.
Yes.
While you're at the IDC.
Yes.
Because you saw yourself using that skill to help other people.
Yes.
But you could see, but Mustan, I can do this for my own company.
But you can actually do this for your own company. And yes, I mean, people would come with, we were turning around people's companies, they would come with their problems, you restructure the company, you come up with, recommendations on how they can turn it around and whatnot. So the next step, honestly, was, I think actually we can do this for ourselves. And that's how then in 2014, I moved to RH Managers. So RH Managers is basically a fund where we invested in healthcare infrastructure. So when I moved, they had just raised the first 800 million to invest in infrastructure. Then joined Quinton Zunga, who actually started the fund. I'm now actually a partner at RH Managers as well. Then we raised the rest of the money. We now have 3 funds, which is RH Managers. That's what they had. So it's at 1.5 billion. We raised Fund 2, which is currently at 1.25 billion, but the target is 2.5 billion. We're still busy with capital raise, which actually we have one meeting tomorrow where we're pitching to the investors to try, so that they can put in more money. And then the third fund is actually RH Bophelo, the listed one. So yeah, that's where I am.
How difficult or how was the journey of moving from a corporate safe paycheck at the end of the month type of an environment into your guys' own space, doing your own thing?
It's very different, and the thing is that, remember, when you're with the IDC, you are just an employee, then they pay you, right? When you move to a different setup, you then have to even worry about, the fees that we're getting month end, this is how we pay, and all of that, you know. And I suppose it was not as bad, because if you're in a private equity space, you raise money and you get paid a percentage of, let's say, roughly, usually it's 2% of whatever you've raised as a management fee. So they pay you that so that you can be able to deploy the money and monitor investments and all of that. But how you manage that management fee is actually very important, because you need to get employees to execute the transactions. You need to manage them. You still need to, make sure that your OPEX is covered. Your rent, telephones, all the things that you need, printers and all of those things. So you need to shift your mindset to that, and it was difficult. You, I suppose, also take a salary cut, but you take a salary cut with a view that obviously I'm investing, I'm going to create value in these assets. When I exit the investments, you hope to exit them at a return, and then you can share in the carry vehicle. So you take a salary cut with the hope of having something in the carry vehicle.
And I can also imagine, as a team, you guys, it's your own company, you're black in a country like South Africa that's still developing. There's this thing. I mean, I've got this brand that I'm pushing, right? This is my own brand, Mofire. Red Bull, Monster, Play. When I open the fridge as a client, Mofire. Trusting, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do I trust this black fund managers? Do I trust these guys over these other guys that are repeatable, that have been known to be doing it for decades? What are some of the challenges that you guys experience as a 100% black-owned fund managing company?
No, look, I mean, people are skeptical, obviously. They'll ask you a lot of questions. And I guess we experience that more, especially capital raising, when we're raising the funds. So raising
Can I trust my money with these blacks?
Yeah, raising money is not the easiest. Right?
Okay.
They'll always ask you so many things, and they want to include so many conditions. And recently, actually, shockingly enough, you'll find that it's actually even black people that have questions about you guys. Recently, I won't mention names, but we trying to raise funds. We had meetings, and this company is interested in putting money in RH Bophelo, but this guy, and is a black guy, actually says, you know what, maybe if you add a white person in your board, we'll look at it. So you're like, okay, I didn't expect that from you, but why? So what kind of skill do you think we short in the board that we need to get? Or, because at least if you're saying there's a skill, let's address the skill, not color. Because there's a reason why we black owned. So why are we including a white person? And it was from a black person.
Yeah.
So
a reputable black person. Obviously, you don't have to say names.
Yeah. A reputable black person, and you're like, whew, okay, so we really have a long way to go.
We do.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to maneuver, and needless to say that we actually haven't signed with those guys because they have conditions and all of those things, and I don't think we'll give in to that condition of putting a white person, but it is something that was raised in a meeting.
And guys, you guys are going to go through the same thing. And when you're going through the same thing, you mustn't feel like giving up, because we all go through it every day. I go through it every day with my brands, my businesses, and just that pushback. But do we stop? No, we don't. We just keep it moving. We keep going. But can you feel that there is some sort of a slight change? The mindset is slow. The tide is slowly changing. I can feel the tide turning.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think it is turning, and I would say it is turning even for us as RH Bophelo, because when we listed in 2017, there was a bit of pushback, but we did manage to raise the 500 million. And now we've made investments, we've got a solid balance sheet, and when we are actually going to pitch to people, they're actually listening, and I think they're liking our story, they're liking what we are saying to them. So it is changing a bit. Yeah.
And how have you been able to be a corporate woman, building your career, and at the same time you've got a family? You probably are building a family, or there's those intricacies, especially as a woman.
Yeah, that's not easy. I'm actually a mother to a 11-month-old.
Oh, congratulations!
So, yeah,
a mother to 11-month-old looking like this.
Yes.
Okay, so back at the gym.
Yes.
So you got your body back like that. Oh, you're a runner.
Well, no, it wasn't like that. It was a lot of hard work.
A lot of work, yeah?
Yeah, and I think I run a lot. So I run races on weekends and things like that. So that probably helps. But I mean, it's a difficult thing. And it's a difficult thing on... It's a difficult thing on all levels, even from at home, work, and at work, right? You actually need support. Without support, you honestly won't be able to do it. I mean, I was on maternity leave for 4 months, and you can't honestly just switch off the laptop and say, I'm on maternity leave, I'll see it after 4 months. No, you still have to open your laptop and to do certain things and whatnot. And you actually need to make sure that you've got good support. So lucky enough, I found a good nanny. So I actually don't have to worry much about it. She knows exactly what to do with the child and whatnot, which actually gives me more time to actually concentrate on work. So I think where we find the challenge as women is that some women actually want to do everything themselves. They don't want to get help. But the minute you realize that you actually cannot do all of it yourself, you need help, that's the better way. And the fact that, I mean, I do bath my son once a week maybe, or twice a week, depending on availability, but the helper does all the work, right? That doesn't mean that I don't love the child or anything. It's just that I've got other things that I need to do, right? And with work as well, you also need to take care of yourself. There are things that you enjoy. I enjoy running, so I need time to go running as well. Then I can come back home and be a good mother to the child. So bottom line, you need help. Without the help, you'll never be able to do it.
You need help, guys. Collaboration is key in everything. Your personal life, obviously, also in business. As you can hear, she's business partner with a lot of people. I always say, if it's myself, I don't have any project that I do all by myself.
Yeah.
Every project I do, I've got partners. What are some of the things or routines that you perform apart from running? You've already said one, which is running. Because as a hustler, there's things that we do just to keep ourselves sane, to keep ourselves pure, to keep ourselves inspired, because it's a challenging world out there.
So, I mean, yeah, I've already said that I do run. I do read a lot. I actually don't watch much of the TV.
We're the same. Thank you. When I tell people I don't watch TV, they're like, you don't watch TV? I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it once in a while. Maybe there's Chiefs and Pirates, or there's something big. We're watching the results of the elections, but I don't watch TV.
Well, I mean, I do have it, but
I gave it to my helper.
It could even be on, but I'm just busy reading something or doing something else. It's not anything that I enjoy. So
running and reading.
And reading. I go out sometimes for lunch. It's I'm a person, I enjoy my space, so I love being at home. I'm sure even at work they can tell you. It'll be a Friday and they're like, oh, let's go down to Tiger's Milk. It just opened in Melrose for drinks. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe one drink, but I actually want to go home.
yeah.
Because
I've seen the older I've become, I enjoy being at home more.
Yes, I enjoy being at home. And sometimes I can even make up stories and say, oh no, I'm meeting a friend wherever, but in the meantime you'll find me in my house chilling. So it's that.
Spirituality?
Yes. Well, I go to church. I try and go every Sunday. I'm a Christian and born in a Christian family, so it's sort of like, grows with you. So yeah.
And what are some of what is your take on some of the things that you, as you're saying, you've been brought up in a Christian family, some of the things that you've learned now in your adult life? Because I see you've got nappy hair, natural hair. I love natural hair, by the way.
Yes.
Opposed to some of the Christian teachings that you've learned when you were younger. What are some of the things that you think contradict your Christian knowledge that you've known now as you become older, or as you've gotten older? Especially about African history. I'm doing that intentionally to challenge you on African history. I don't want to say African history versus Christianity, but I do know that I also grew up as a Christian, right? But as I've become older, there's a lot of things that I'm questioning, and I've stopped practicing any religion, and I've just decided to just be one with my God and just go through a research and go reread and start again reading the Bible to understand a lot of the things that we were taught are lies.
Yeah.
Some things were tweaked, some things, so we were lied to a lot, you know. So I'm going through that journey. Have you gone through that journey?
Funny
or maybe
enough,
am I crazy?
Yeah. Funny enough, you're saying you've gone through that journey. I am actually currently going through that journey for various reasons. And if you talking about African history, one of the things that I still find challenging, and it is actually a big challenge for me, is, you know, we believe in ancestors and we slaughter. And at the same time, if you then believe in God, those are things that you should not necessarily be doing. So for me,
according to the Western ideologies.
Yes, exactly. So according to me, I always find it challenging that, you know, I'm trying to follow this, but at the same time, I'm trying to understand the Western ideologies, and they don't link to an extent that if there's a function at home, for instance, in fact, I've actually stopped questioning what it is. There was a function this past weekend, they had to slaughter for something, I don't know what it was for, but I chose not to ask questions, and I just booked a flight and went home and came back without even asking, because at the same time, the person who wanted to do the function is my grandfather, who's 98 years old. So
wow, he's still alive?
Yes.
Congratulations,
yes.
You guys are blessed.
Yeah, no, we are.
Wow, 98, same year as the great Zamama Zulu, Bab Credo Mota. He's also 98 years old. May God bless you, sir, wherever you are. And we still honor you and for the knowledge. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a blessing when I hear somebody's like almost turning 100.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
So, I mean, it's not something that I could actually do to argue with him and whatnot. So I was just like, oh, okay, when is it? It's fine. I'll be there, and that's it. So up until I actually do understand and decide what I want to follow, you know, at this point in time, I haven't decided. I'm still in that journey of trying to find it and find myself when it comes to
I'm
that.
glad you are there, because I'm also there as well, you know? Okay, that's a beautiful thing. And you wake up in the morning, do you run every day, or do you run on the weekends, or what? I meditate in the morning, I pray in the morning, and as far as I'm concerned with what you're talking about, I used to shun away from my own African culture. And just say, no, Tina siyatandaza.
Yeah.
But only now I'm like, my goodness, what did I know? I've been lied to, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even want to say apologetic towards my ancestors. I think the best way for me to fix it is to go through that journey where I'm researching about it, I'm reading things, I'm asking questions to the ones that are still alive who are older, so that I can do better with my own family and my own children and what to teach them, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited that you're going through that journey of rediscovery.
So, I mean, I guess every day when I wake, I don't run every day, but the first thing I do almost every day when I wake up, I would read a verse in the Bible. So I've got this app that has the verse of the day and whatever. So I'd read the verse of the day, think about it, read further in the Bible, then obviously get up. I don't go to gym every day. Sometimes just go to the office and go to gym after work. Sometimes go for a run. So it will be like 3 or 5 times a week that I actually go for a run, but do long distance running over the weekends.
Wow. So you do like how many kilometers?
Well, I do like 21s.
Sure.
I'm actually registered for the Cape Town Marathon, which is 15th of September.
Okay.
So that's also what I'm training for in the next 3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're looking so great. Just hardly months after giving birth.
Yeah, yeah.
Well done,
I've worked for it, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always
Nothing
nice.
comes easy.
Yeah. It's always nice to see the results.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
from the hard work.
Yes.
Coming back into business, I mean, you're a chartered accountant, you're an entrepreneur, and you're part of the first 100% Black-owned listed company that's with the JSE. Being a chartered accountant, studied accounting, you guys have got you also have knowledge in the pharmaceuticals industry. And I was speaking to you before we started recording about the the national health bill that the president has just signed into law. For a layman in the street like myself, what does that mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, the NHI bill basically, it seeks to give universal healthcare to everyone, which means now you know that it's only 8 million or so of the population that's medically insured in terms of having, medical aids. And the rest of the population is not insured. But part of it, I think about 20 million of it, it's people that can actually pay. So it's private patients. They can pay from their own pocket. So they either self-employed and then don't have medical aid, but they've got access to cash capital. But the majority of it, they don't have access to that. And the only way of accessing healthcare is via the public hospitals. And right now, the public hospitals in South Africa, they're not necessarily in a good state. They're overcrowded and underserviced, right? So NHI seeks to give everyone, even the unemployed and everyone else, access to healthcare.
Okay.
Yes. So if you got a condition, you can actually go to any hospital and you get the same level of healthcare. Because now you've got
you only have the privileged people getting better treatment than everybody else. It's like even with the education sector.
Yeah.
Ordinary people can't access good education, good healthcare, etc.
Yes.
Okay. So it's signed into law as to try and balance.
Yes, because now...
So that's the reason why the medical aid companies are pissed off.
Yes, that's why they're pissed off, because obviously what the government would have to do, they would have to agree that everyone is the same. You go to any private hospital or any hospital that's there, the level of care is essentially the same. Then they need to agree that for this procedure, this is how much you're going to pay and whatnot. So obviously your discoveries and whatnot will cause a hoo-ha about it. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, they want to get rid of the medical aid. So
wow, very interesting.
So they will cause a hoo-ha about it. But I mean, it's a good thing for us as people, because you all now have access to healthcare. And it's a good thing for RH Bophelo as well, because we are actually putting infrastructure where there was no infrastructure before, So essentially, we're buying and building hospitals in areas where there were no hospitals, so that people can actually access that.
RH12J.
Yeah.
What is RH12J?
So RH12J is our new venture. So RH12J is our new venture, which basically allows your wealthy or prominent South Africans to invest in that with. So how it works is that the National Treasury decided to allow South Africans to invest and to participate in the local economy. And they do that by then giving you an immediate tax break, tax deduction. So an example, for instance, if you want to invest, you can invest, let's say you put in R1 million, right? Assuming you get taxed at 45%, you'll get a tax break where you get 450 immediately back, right? And you still get your return on investment on the full R1 million that you've invested.
No, say that again.
Yeah.
Now that sounds too good to be true. Please say that again.
So what happens is that you put in your money and then you get the immediate tax break, immediate deduction.
I understand the deduction and the tax break, but do I get that money back immediately?
No, you don't get the money.
Oh,
the
okay.
million rand you invest. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what happens is you invest the R1 million. You can immediately deduct 450 of that if you are taxed at the high tax bracket.
Obviously,
if you're an individual, you can immediately deduct 450 of that from...
Because it's 45% tax, by the way.
as the tax deduction. So you've had a benefit of the tax.
Wow.
But at the same time, your investment that you put in is R1 million, right? You will get a return on it, let's say after 5 years, because the requirement is that you keep it for 5 years in that investment first before you can get a return. So in a case where you want to take it out before the 5 years, you then have to pay back the tax deduction that you got.
Okay, I understand. So for me to qualify for the tax break, I must at least have the funds in for at least 5 years.
For at least 5 years.
And what happens if I put in R1 million now, it's 2020, and then say the fourth year or let's say the third year in 2023, I put in maybe another 2 million rands. So does the 2 million rands mature after the time that I invested in?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
only, oh, okay.
Yes. So,
okay. So 5 years from date of...
From 5 years from date of investment.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Because I can continue investing as
Yeah.
time goes.
Yes. So what's also important is that obviously you have to put in the funds in a registered 12J investment, right? So it has to be a registered company. So we have registered a 12J company where our minimum investment, you can put in as low as 400,000. So you put in the money there. What we plan to do with that is invest in the hospitals. So we've got a brochure with the pipeline of hospitals that we already have. So we invest in those hospitals. And so the benefit for you as the investor is you get the immediate tax deduction, and obviously you will still get your return on the investment after year 6, year 7, whenever you want your return.
And then how do you guys know which industries, let me not say industries, because obviously it's a healthcare industry, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which we all know how much money is made. The pharmaceuticals make a lot of money.
They make a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of us have got less knowledge as to how we can participate in that space and make money. So this is an opportunity
Yes.
for us to plug in
Yes.
and make money in that industry, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean, now what we've been doing is we've got institutional investors into our fund. So it's like companies that are even investing, whereas this one actually allows even individuals.
Oh
to
wow!
invest in.
So I can invest as an individual.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you can. So if you invest, for instance, if we've got a company that invests in 12J, their tax deduction will be at 28% because you're a company. But if you're an individual, the tax deduction that you get immediately depends on obviously your tax bracket. So I'll assume that the people that invest there already are people that are in the highest bracket, so you will get your 45% deduction immediately.
And I can see some of the partners here, the likes of Standard Bank, Africa Healthcare, the likes of Sizo and Aluba, Goboto, the likes of BDO, etc.
Yes.
These are
So-
reputable big companies,
Yes,
yeah?
so those are all the companies that have actually helped us to set up this 12J company.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd love to have a conversation about this. This is interesting. It's actually exciting for us, you know?
Yeah. No, it is exciting because I mean it allows us to, invest in a portfolio of assets, and over and above that you maximize on your tax return, and it allows us to participate in the economy.
You know, Robert Kiyosaki always says that, like, most of the richest people or the wealthy, they don't pay tax. Why don't they pay tax? They know how to not pay tax.
Yes.
By these types of schemes, for instance. I don't want to call it a scheme, sorry. But by these types of opportunities. Because they're wise enough by working with these types of people to advise them accordingly so they can be able to get their tax returns. And you and I keep paying a lot of tax, and especially the ones that we've done well, we get taxed half of the money we make. That's like
Yes.
45% of what we make goes back to the government.
Yes, it does. It is very painful when you look at it.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine the other time that when you think about it, for every 1 rand you make, 45 cents actually goes to the government.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now,
So
it's 2020 now. In 2030, let me say 2030. Let me actually say 20 years. Let me say 2040.
sure. Okay.
2040. Then, ngicela ukhulume nawe 20 years from now. This is 2040. This is you in 2040. Please look at that. We're gonna send you this video, by the way, because 20 years goes like this.
It actually does, eh?
Because just yesterday I was on YFM. Just yesterday I was dropping hit music. I was on stages rocking. Hey, 2 months ago I just turned 40. I'm like, I'm 40. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm seeing gray on my beard, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It went like this.
It does.
And this is gonna go like this.
Yeah.
So this is exactly 20 years from today. You however old, you got kids, probably grandkids at the time. You're looking at that 40 something, what is that, 60 something year old you, or 60-year-old you, or 50 something year old you on that camera. Please speak to umama or ukoko, okay? Because people will be calling you Koko. People will probably been calling you Koko. Because right now at 40, I'm 40 years old. It's possible that at 20, when I'm 40, my camera guy, the videographer,
Yeah.
Stefan is 20 years old, and I always say he's my son.
Yeah.
But it's possible that he can have a child at 20.
20, yeah.
So I can be a grandfather at this age.
Yes, you can.
So 20 years from today, it's possible that you can be a great grandmother.
It is actually possible.
Yeah, so please look at that camera and I speak to a 60-year-old self. And what would you like to say to yourself?
Sure. Yeah.
By the way, we're going to send you this video, I promise you.
Okay.
And we're going to surprise you with a forgotten. We're going to be like, Sanbona Ninjanima, you remember this. Speak to yourself.
Wow, that's interesting. I've actually never thought about it.
Don't even speak to me. Speak to yourself over there. Just be honest and speak to yourself.
Hopefully, I think one of the things that I would like to say at that point in time is look back and say, wow, you've done well. But I think I would like to look back when I get to that age and know that I've created a legacy and you know, something that I'll be happy to leave behind for not only for my kids, but obviously for the community that I come from and for the world at large. So, yeah.
Same camera. Your grandkids are sitting around you. You're sitting in the lounge of your amazing home, wherever it is, because you'll be having a lot of homes. Your grandkids are around you. Your kids are around you. Maybe your kids are married at that time or whatever. What would you like to say to the kids and the grandkids?
I think the one thing that I would actually say to them is that they need to be true to themselves and go for what they want. So follow their dreams.
And I want you to speak like you're telling them, because they're watching you now.
Yes,
Speak to them. Say, guys, hey.
Guys, you need to be true to yourselves. Follow your dreams. Go for what you want. No one will ever come to you and give it to you. So don't be wanting to work for, you know, another person. Create stuff for yourselves. Yeah.
I like that. 5, let me say 5 in Yaktaira. Let me say 3, maybe.
Sure.
3 advices that every hustler should know out there. And when I say a hustler, you know what I mean. You're a hustler, I'm a hustler. Corporate hustlers or business, whoever it is that's hustling to build themselves or their careers or their businesses. 3 things that you'd like to share with them.
Okay. The first one would be, you know, always take criticism, listen to other people. Sometimes we tend to be very optimistic in terms of, you know, our ideas and what we want. So you need to take what people say into account. Number 2, you need to try and be innovative. So don't just sit on one idea and sit on what you're doing and not try to enhance it or make it better. Because while you're still doing what you're doing, someone else could be coming with something even better than what you're doing, and you'll be left behind. And the third one would be, always try and involve people. So do something that will benefit you, but also benefit the community around you, not just yourself. Hi everyone, I'm Vuyokazi Nomvalo. I'm the transaction executive from RH Bophelo. I've just been hustled by DJ Sbu on the Hustlers Corner.
Sis Vuyokazi Nomvalo, you are amazing.
Thank you.
You're incredible. Thank you so much for your time, Siyabonga.
Thank you.
And definitely your story is going to inspire millions of young South Africans and Africans at large, because this is the internet, it's global, you know?
Yes, I hope it does.
I want the African child to know that there's hope. There's people like you who come from villages,
yes,
who grew up with nothing, who went to go Kamanzi in winter. How difficult it was those days, imagine.
Yes,
no internet, no electricity, none of that. But you've become the person that you are. And you still embrace your Africanness. You've got your natural hair on. And you guys have just built the first 100% Black-owned JSE listed company. Black-owned. How does that feel, by the way, before I let you go?
It feels good, actually.
Because sometimes when you're in the action, you forget about looking at the celebrations. Like you're working and people want to tell you like, you're doing so well. You're like, oh, thank you. But like sometimes, Mama, Dr. Tony, like one of my mentors, she says, Sbu, wait a minute. Calm down, my son. Step outside of yourself and just look and be in the present and just appreciate what you've done with your life.
No, I mean, I think it's one of the things that we actually forget as people. or maybe let me just say I forget to do that. It's only when people tell you, it's like, guys, it's JSE list, then you're like, oh, okay, you've actually done well. I'm like, okay. You know, like I don't think we appreciate that enough, because you're always looking at people ahead of you and, you know, what you want to actually achieve, and forget to appreciate where you are and what you've achieved. So I guess that's what I suffer from. So I need to take that advice as well and just step back at some point and say, what have we achieved? Oh, okay. And continue.
Be proud of yourself.
Yes.
From where you come from. And especially that South Africa.
Yes.
Guys, South Africa was not what it is now. Like what you guys see now, this smartphone, the internet, the lights.
Yes.
Guys, South Africa, yo, guys.
Yes. Yeah. Even villages are not the same. I always tell my younger sisters, it's like now they've got water, we've put in water, there's built-in cupboards, there's everything. I'm like, we had one round and make fire in the center. And now they've got everything.
You didn't have
Stoves,
flushing
electricity.
toilets.
Exactly. And now they have that.
Guys, it's not about where you start.
So
You might have grown up with that. She didn't even have any flushing toilets, but look at her now. It's like she's building hospitals. She's got a listed company there. She's a chartered accountant. Guys, it's possible for anyone. And she's still so young. Young people are doing great things with their lives out there. The question is, what are you doing with your life? This is Vuyokazi Nomvalo. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
Gabong. Thank you, guys. This has been the Hustlers Corner. Like, share, subscribe, and click on that notification button so when we drop videos, you are aware. And please press that like button in case you've just joined in right now. On the count of 3, we're all pressing those like buttons. 1, 2, 3. Click, 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 click. Thank you. Share the video. This has been the Hustlers Corner with the #1 Knoxman. Abanye bang busy hustler. Smooth.
The Hustlers Corner.